Bonjour, bienvenue au French Tech Podcast. Welcome to the French Tech Podcast recording here at the Singapore FinTech Festival. Southeast Asia's most awaited and I think important and impressive FinTech Festival. Definitely very happy to welcome Bastien from Business France Vietnam. Could I ask you to quickly introduce yourself and Business France?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you, Nikolai. Dankjewel for this
Graag
opportunity.
gedaan.
Very happy to be here on this amazing festival, the FinTech Festival. It's the first time for me. I'm quite impressed, and I think it's gonna get bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
hopefully there will be more and more French companies. So about myself, my name is Bastien. So I work for Business France. Business France is basically the trade commission of the French embassy. So I'm based in Vietnam, but we have more than 80 offices in 70 countries all over the world. And basically what we do, we have two main activities. The first one is investment. So we help local companies, to be honest, it's usually a big corporation, to find investment possibilities in France. So opening an office, buy something an office, or employ people in France, something like that. And the other activity, which is my activity, is to help French businesses to find business partners
Right.
in Southeast Asia. So I'm based in Vietnam, so I have focus with Vietnam. But today I can talk about the whole region. And what we do most of the time is that we connect these SMEs, startups, scale-ups, but also a big corporation with selected partners, clients, distributors. The main goal is that they grow here and abroad.
Right.
Yeah.
And that it becomes easier for them to do business here. And I
Exactly.
think that's so essential, right? Because looking into Southeast Asia from Paris,
Mm.
it's a faraway place. And it's a very diverse market. So many languages are spoken here.
Exactly.
You might have a sense that there are great opportunities here.
All markets are all different. Look, today we are in Singapore.
Yeah.
Singapore is quite a mature market with many huge foreign headquarters, comparing to Vietnam, which is more emerging market. But also interesting because you can find already a lot of opportunity in Singapore, but also in the markets nearby, it's growing so fast that you can start looking at it, and in a year or two,
Yeah.
you will find business for sure. Before that, I was in the Netherlands, and I was like talking about the growth of the GDP, which was 3%, which is pretty huge for Europe, right?
Yeah.
But then now I'm in Vietnam. It's 7% GDP growth every year for the last 5 years. It's very impressive. And
Just say that again. 7%.
7%.
For
Sorry,
the last 5 years.
for the last 5
just
years.
just so you realize how big that is.
Yeah. It's huge, and on average in Southeast Asia region, it's 5%, which is also pretty impressive.
So many opportunities related to that growth.
Mm.
Like you mentioned, coming here to Singapore, quite a mature market, quite a mature business
Yeah.
ecosystem. Usually a place where people first initially come to
Yeah.
explore the Southeast Asia market.
Exactly.
But even once you've come here, it's not necessarily easy to expand in any of these other markets.
Exactly.
So could we talk a little bit about the different kinds of opportunities and challenges that the Vietnamese market represents?
Yeah, just one small thing also.
Yeah.
Is you were saying that when you are a French SME or French startups, you don't think right away to Southeast Asia, and that's true.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you first have to watch out the countries around France, Germany, Spain, UK, that kind of countries. Of course, obviously you need to be there because it's easy. It's European Union.
Yeah.
It's quite it's easier to go on this market. Then you have this American dream, but the
Right.
American dream it
Right.
costs a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of resources. So then what we try to do is we try to attract also the companies here in Southeast Asia, because we know the potential and the opportunities they can have here. So about Vietnam, what is interesting is this amazing growth. It's things are moving very fast in a lot of areas, especially in retail tech and e-commerce, because you have a lot of internet users, you have a young population.
Yeah.
People on average have more than one mobile phone per person. You have IT talents. So you have a lot of things happening right now in Vietnam, and also you have this trade agreement that will come next year, come out.
Right.
Vietnam will be the fourth country to have a free trade agreement between the European Union and Vietnam, after Singapore, of course, Japan and Korea.
So many opportunities, right?
Yes, exactly.
And what are some of the challenges for French startups that want to explore the Vietnamese market?
I think one of the most difficult challenges is cultural, as we were saying before.
Right,
You need to adapt, because even in Europe, things are very different from a country to another one. But in Vietnam, it's even it's so far away and even more difficult. So I think you have to adapt to the culture. So, as I was saying before, during a business meeting, you have to wear a tie, which is for startups. Yeah. It's not really the case. When I was in Netherlands, I was not.
Yeah.
I'm a bit exaggerating, but I was in a hoodie almost.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And but then in Vietnam, you're still like formal with a tie. You have to give your card with two hands, both hands. You have to how do you say? Se pencher, bound a little bit. So, and say a few words. And then also, you don't do what's difficult in those markets, because you are far, and you cannot do one shot. You have you have to build a relationship. So you have to come at least in a year. You have to come 2 or 3 times at least.
Yeah.
And go and come back and build the relationship, and then you will start seeing things happening in Vietnam.
And that's one of the things that can be a little bit challenging, right? Sometimes for startups or medium-sized companies, saying, all right, I know that there's great potential. I know that 3 years from now, I would like to be there and do this kind of business. I'm going to invest in building those relationships for the more long term.
Exactly. And as we are always saying, it's never too early to go abroad. Never too early, because maybe the market now in your area, for example, fintech.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe right now it's not the best in Vietnam, but maybe things are moving so fast. So when you do the B2B matchmaking session, and then right now they don't need you, but maybe in 1 year, 2 years, or even 6 months, they know where to reach you, and they can give you a call and say, okay, things are moving fast now in Vietnam. I need you, and calling you up for partnership.
So how do you guys at Business France Vietnam help startups overcome these challenges?
So what we do basically is the first steps. So first we can do many things. Mostly what we do is B2B matchmaking. French SMEs is coming to Vietnam, and during 2 or 3 days they have bespoke B2B matchmaking with selected partners, the right partners that will make the decision and will say, okay, I want to buy your solution. I want to partner with you. I want to work with you. But otherwise, we have many other activities. We do market studies, we do events, we do networking, we do anything that can help the French company connect and grow in the country.
To connect and grow in the local market. Exactly. That's really fantastic. And I think that initial week, right, that you could organize, right, those kind of B2B matchmaking events, I think is perfect, because that allows for a founder really to say, okay, I'm going to invest a week. I know that there's a certain number of meetings that I've got lined up, right? And after that week, I'll be able to go home with valuable information.
Exactly, exactly. And also, I like to say a few words about the French tech ecosystem.
Yeah, of course.
We work a lot with the French tech ecosystem, because we know that when we bring a SME or a startup, they know that on the business side we can help, but on the other aspects, like they are looking for HR, lawyers, another startups that can give you advice on the market. So that's why we connect also the startups we're working with to the French tech ecosystem. And
well, just to share my own experience with that, even here in Singapore, I think that match between Business France and French tech is really great, because on the one hand, people are coming here, right? They have their business meetings or whatever, and next to that, they can plug into the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Exactly.
Get first-hand accounts, right? Saying, okay, this is what you need to pay attention to, from people who are actually doing it on the ground, actually building their business here, and get some inside information on what it's like. So I think it's a really fantastic match between our two organizations.
And that's the case for tonight. Tonight, the whole delegation is invited to an amazing cocktail. I heard 300 people, something like that.
Yeah, we're expecting 300 people at the French Tech FinTech party. We'll be there as well. Nice. So that should be very interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you, Bastien, for taking the time to talk to us here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Nikolai.
And I think you guys are doing great work, and we'll definitely try to work together to make great things happen for French startups here in Southeast Asia.
I hope so.